So it is behind valet parking, and it is active. It's just I don't think there's power to it to charge the car yet, but it's interesting to see. Okay, so just did a quick bump up to 60% there, grabbed a bite to eat, and we'll head off next to Hagerstown. So yeah, plenty here. Got the two J1772 plugs and four tritium 50 kilowatt dual head CCS and CHAdeMOs. There's a Kia Soul, older Kia Soul EV using the CHAdeMOs right now, one of them, and me on the combo. Seems to be a bit expensive. There's a parking fee, then a 25 cents per kilowatt hour fee. So that might be something to factor in, because there are other options around here. The Electrify America site on a pass plus plan is cheaper and faster, but definitely the most options around here. At the mall over there, Red Robin for beer and burgers, Primanti, which is Italian, or sandwiches I assume, Olive Garden, which is definitely Italian, Noodles and Company, and Starbucks if you're for a quicker stop. But there's plenty here, and it's a decent stop if you're willing to pay for it. I'm going to unplug now and be done. So New Jersey, end of a day, non-EV work. rested, relaxed, and ready to do the last 250 miles or so back to Boston. A little before rush hour, but not much, so we'll probably hit some traffic, which there's going to require a charge on the way back. Ideally that would be the Norwalk Volta free charging, fast charging, but I don't know if that's up. No one has been to test it yet, so we'll see if we can get Volta's first free fast charger up and working. Behind valet parking, and it is active. It's just I don't think there's power to it to charge the car yet, but it's interesting to see. So it is a Volta free fast charger, as you can see from the label at the top, but it is also valet parking, so they're changing the price a little bit apparently, but it's going to be like $6 to park here, so you do have that to factor in. But if you get a free charge and you park anyway, you have to pay to park in the other sections, probably a bit less, but that is what it is. And that's quite often the case in these high-end retail centers. I've heard the same from people in New York State or New York City who just don't like the fact that the fast chargers are behind a paywall. But anyway, that was interesting. It's good to see it, and there's an Electrify America site down the street in Stratford, so we'll go over there. Alright, there's a fair few of these. Okay, so this is Stratford Square, Connecticut. And what will now be, given the Volta charger is not yet turned on properly, this will be our final charge of the trip. So, not particularly impressive numbers there, apart from the 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour. 113 miles is a pittance in the grand scheme of things on this trip. But we have, crossed the 4,000 mark. So 4,082.7 miles so far. We have plenty of Electrify America chargers to finish the journey. This is probably the best way to do it, to be honest, because they've powered us the whole trip. So why not use them to finish it? There we go. Right up, as we're used to about 50 kilowatts. What percentage are we at? 13? 14 maybe? Don't know. It's not going to flick the screen, but whatever. Not too much going on here. This one isn't turned on in terms of the neon lights, so it kind of ruins the effect. But we're at 14%, and for me it's time for dinner. Will it have to be McDonald's, or will we find something else? Only time will tell. Actually need a bit more. That was my bad. I forgot that once you leave the New York tri-state area, you are into hills and faster speeds, as well as the fact that the temperatures are back around freezing point. This is right off the interstate, Mass Pike, so we just popped off and had a rest break. And it was also free. Usually these are normal EVgo prices now, but it was like the old days, free charging on the Mass Pike the first year we had the car. So yeah, bit of a blast from the past, but we'll get off now. 50 miles home, easy, and we'll have a bit left over for tomorrow. Very ready for bed now. Whew. Okay. Returning to freezing rain. Ouch. Okay, but back to the business end. This was a very small day, of course. The Wednesday spent with clients and working in the tri-state area, so this was just the drive home essentially. Through the first 50 or 60 miles in New York City area traffic, we were up to about 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour. And it wasn't even that warm, it was probably getting down to mid-30s, so you know, the efficiency seems to be okay when you're in stop-start traffic and the normal conditions we get around Boston. So it'll be interesting to see how the 2020 does as we get into you know, more regular use around here. And the reason it's down to 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour is once you get into Connecticut, I forgot you'd get those hills that you drive up I-84 and up to connect with the Mass Pike, and you're into ski resorts and you know, pretty significant elevations for this area at least. And had to do a final little top up on the Mass Pike, but that was just a quick EVgo jump and a rest break. Similar drag, in fact exactly the same for temperatures. That's the first part of the journey and the last part of the journey, because it was all 60s and 70° Fahrenheit in Texas. This is just driving quickly pretty much everywhere we could. Up to speeds of 80 miles an hour in Texas. Terrain pretty good, mainly because of the flat nature of the middle of the journey. Climate settings not a whole lot, didn't use them too much, as you'll see here. Only 1%. Most of the trip was very warm, perfect temperatures as far as I was concerned. So we used 1,269 kilowatt hours almost. 4,233 miles all in all for this journey. So pretty epic, lots of little jaunting around. It's about a 4,000 mile journey, so the rest of that is made up of, you know, popping between the Circuit of the Americas for Fully Charged Live into Austin, back to the hotel, back to Circuit of the Americas, and punting around in the tri-state area for different work reasons. So, you know, it's testament. You can do this journey. We'll do a proper recap, but I wanted to record the numbers. Lots to digest, lots of learning points from the car, from the charge profile and the increased range to the efficiency and what kind of conditions it performs best in. But we definitely had some benefits from taking this one over the 2017, and I will make sure I cover as many of those as I can in a future video. Until then, I have the day job to do and all kinds of unpacking, but for now that's the number that matters, I guess. 4,232.4 miles over 7 days in a Chevy Bolt EV.